The Statistics Department of Malaysia has revealed that the unemployment rate is at the highest in 10 years.
Malaysia's economic recovery is projected to grow by 5% in the first quarter of this year after 2 years in recession.
Negara mencatatkan penurunan kadar pengangguran 748,800 orang pada Ogos tahun ini.
Kadar pengangguran negara terus menunjukkan trend penurunan apabila mencatat 3.5% pada suku pertama 2023 berbanding 3.6% pada suku keempat 2022.
Jobless, no income. Hopeless for people, just like happened during COVID-19.
People suffering and then struggle to survive.
According to the International Labour Organization, unemployment is defined as a situation where individuals of working age or without work are currently available to start a job and have taken active steps to seek employment within a specified recent period. This standard ensures that only those actively participating in the labour market are counted, excluding individuals such as full-time students or retirees who are considered out of the labour force.
From 2014 to 2019, the unemployment rate remained relatively low and stable, ranging between about 2.9% and 3.4%. This indicates a healthy labor market with consistent job opportunities and steady economic conditions during this period. However, in 2020, there was a sharp increase in unemployment to 4.54%, followed by a peak of 4.64% in 2021. This significant rise was largely caused by the COVID-19 pandemic, which led to business closures, reduced economic activity, and job losses across many sectors. From 2022 onwards, the unemployment rate began to decline gradually. It fell to 3.93% in 2022, then slightly decreased further to 3.87% in 2023, and 3.83% in 2024. This downward trend suggests that the economy is recovering, with improved employment opportunities and a gradual return of workforce participation. In conclusion, although the unemployment rate in 2024 is still slightly higher than pre-pandemic levels, the overall trend shows clear signs of recovery and improving labor market conditions.
According to economist N. Gregory Mankiw, gross domestic product, GDP, is defined as the market value of all final goods and services produced within a country in a given period of time. This measure focuses exclusively on final products to avoid double counting the components used in production, and it serves as a primary indicator of a nation's total economic output and overall health. The GDP growth graph shows Malaysia's economic performance from year 2014 to 2024. From 2014 to 2019, Malaysia had steady and positive economic growth. During this time, GDP growth stayed between about 4.5% and 6%. There were small changes each year, but the overall trend shows that the economy was stable. In 2020, GDP growth fell sharply to around -5.5%. This happened because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Many businesses closed, travel was restricted, and economic activity slowed down both locally and globally. In 2021, the economy started to recover, and GDP growth increased to about 3.3%. This improvement happened because the government supported the economy and more businesses were allowed to reopen. In 2022, the recovery became stronger, and GDP growth reached its highest level at around 8.9%. This shows that people spent more money and economic activities increased. In 2023, GDP growth slowed to about 3.7%. This was because global economic conditions were weaker and external demand decreased. In 2024, GDP growth increased again to around 5%. This shows that Malaysia's economy continued to improve and became more stable. Overall, the graph shows that Malaysia faced a serious economic decline in 2020, but the economy recovered in the following years and returned to steady growth.
Yes, I think both of them are related.
Yes, I think they are related indicator because reflecting each other.
Yes, I think both of them are related. They have a negative relationship. Usually the downward of GDP coming with the uprise of unemployment.
GDP growth and unemployment are important indicators of a country's economy. In Malaysia, changes in GDP growth have a strong effect on the unemployment rate. This combined graph shows Malaysia's GDP growth rate and unemployment rate from 2014 to 2024. GDP, or Gross Domestic Product, measures the value of goods and services produced in the economy. When GDP grows, businesses expand and more jobs are created. The unemployment rate shows the percentage of people who cannot find a job even though they are willing to work. From 2014 to 2019, Malaysia experienced steady economic growth. During this period, GDP growth remained between 4 and 6%. As a result, unemployment stayed low, at around 3%. This shows that economic growth helps to reduce unemployment. In 2020, the COVID-19 pandemic caused a major economic shock. Lockdowns and business closures reduced economic activity. Malaysia's GDP fell sharply, and many workers lost their jobs. As GDP declined, the unemployment rate increased significantly. This clearly shows an inverse relationship between GDP growth and unemployment. When GDP falls, unemployment rises. From 2021 onwards, the economy gradually recovered. Government stimulus measures and the reopening of businesses helped GDP return to positive growth. In 2022 and after, unemployment began to decline as job opportunities increased. Overall, Malaysia's experience from 2014 to 2024 shows a strong relationship between GDP growth and unemployment. Economic growth creates jobs, while economic downturns increase unemployment. Understanding this relationship is important for economic planning and policy making.
To address economic instability and curb rising unemployment, Malaysia implemented strategic fiscal policies designed to catalyze GDP growth. The first response arrived in February 2020 with the RM20 billion economic stimulus package. This targeted intervention focused on 3 pillars: managing the immediate impact of the virus, driving people-centric growth, and encouraging investment. As the crisis evolved, the government transitioned into the recovery phase of its 6R framework by launching policy called PENJANA in June 2020. This RM35 billion plan featured 40 initiatives to empower the people and propel businesses. To combat a projected 5.5% unemployment rate, the government allocated nearly RM9 billion for job security, including the extension of the wage subsidy program, which saved over 2.4 million jobs. This policy also prioritized the future, investing RM2 billion in workforce reskilling and RM140 million in digitalization grants to help SMEs move online. To maintain Malaysia's status as a top investment destination, the RM1.2 billion National Penjana Fund was established to attract global venture capital.
The government can offer incentives to the companies, such as subsidies or tax reductions. This is because those incentives can help companies to expand their operations and hire more workers, especially for those fresh graduate and young people.
One of the ways to reduce unemployment, I think the best way is provide training to workers. Since there are many skills that requires skills, for example, digital and technical. By these skills, by workers that have mastered these skills, the company have a higher chance for hiring them.
I think developing the tourism industry as a way out of reducing the unemployment rate and also increasing the GDP. So I think government can provide like policies like visa-free entry and also tourism promotions in order to encourage the development or growth of local businesses in tourism-related industries.
In conclusion, statistics tell us that the storm has passed. They show a nation returning to its feet, with factories humming and offices filling once again. But as we look at the streets of Malaysia today, we realize that a recovered economy doesn't always mean a healed society. For a decade, we have watched the dance between GDP and employment, a cycle where numbers rise and fall, but human livelihoods hang in the balance. The 2020 crisis taught us how fragile our stability truly is. It showed us that when the gears of the economy grind to a halt, it is the workers on the front lines who feel the friction first. As we move toward a future of growth, our challenge is no longer just to create jobs, but to create dignity.